Hello, here at Buckinghamshire Healthcare NHS Trust we have a great responsibility. We look after a population of about 500,000 people and we see about 1 million patient contacts a year. And we have a responsibility to ensure that they have safe care, compassionate care and get great outcomes. What we also know is that the biggest indicator and biggest driver of providing great care is staff engagement and how happy our staff are. And I'm really proud over the last 3 years that this organisation has been one of the fastest growing organisations in terms of staff engagement scores across England and the health service. But bullying is still a problem in the health service and bullying is still a problem in our organisation. Across the country, about 40% of staff have either seen or been subject to bullying. About 70% of that comes from their direct line manager. And 40% of staff leave their organisation without having their issues resolved. But what is bullying? So bullying is abuse of position, abuse of power and authority. It's when people are undermined or humiliated. It can be verbal, non-verbal, it can be physical and non-physical. It takes many forms and we have a responsibility to understand what it looks like and to report it and to not do it. What is also true is that the NHS has never been under more pressure. We're busy, our staff are under pressure, and sometimes they're tired as the demand for our services increases. Knowing this, it is even more important that we take care of each other and that we treat each other as colleagues how we would want to be treated ourselves. So what kind of culture are we looking to create in this organisation? Well, we want a culture that's driven by our values. And we have some values, they're our care values. And care is really important in this regard. Not only that we care for our patients, that we care for each other. So I would want to understand that if you see or are subject to behaviour from your colleagues that doesn't fulfil those care values, I personally want to know about it. And I want to know about it early, and I'm sending a clear message that that behaviour is not acceptable. Bridget, why don't you tell us more about what we have in place for staff who have been bullied or are being bullied?
So first of all, I think you've already mentioned the care values and the behavioural framework which underpins that. So all that sets the cultural tone which you and I are working hard to make sure that we have throughout the organisation. That's underpinned by formal HR policies such as the Dignity and Respect at Work policy and the grievance policy. I think the most important thing is the relationship that individuals have with their line managers. So my hope and expectation is that individuals feel confident enough to talk to their line managers in the first instance. But I recognise that that isn't always the case, unfortunately. So our next level is their grandparent manager, colleagues, senior executives such as you and I or our executive colleagues, and non-exec directors such as David Sines, who is our non-exec director responsible for Freedom to Speak Up. We also have Tracey Underhill, our Freedom to Speak Up guardian, who's been in post for 15 months, and we have the support of our unions. So staff side chair, Paul Tovey, who we're going to talk to later. All of these structures are in place so that nobody should feel that they don't have anywhere to go.
And what role do you think managers have to play in building a climate of respect?
So we know actually that bullying isn't role specific. Having said that, managers play a key role. So that key relationship builds the culture of the immediate team, gives individuals the confidence both to carry out their role and to speak up when things aren't going well. Managers build people's self-esteem, build engagement and give people the confidence to carry out that delivery of care to patients or the delivery of support to their colleagues every single day. Good performance management is about setting clear objectives, being very transparent with individuals about expectations, setting the right conditions for individuals to be able to perform, and then sometimes we absolutely do have to follow formal processes. So that is completely different from a bullying scenario. So for example, managers who change the goalposts, who change their expectations, who humiliate or criticise people in front of others, which is inappropriate and which we would not expect to happen.
So Paul, as a trade union representative, you will have had members come to you with cases of bullying. What have you learned from those and what would be your key messages for staff?
When you look at bullying, bullying isn't unusual in the NHS. I mean, there's an online survey done of 1,500 staff members and 81% of these staff members had some experience of bullying. But the key message I really want to get across is to don't delay on talking to someone about this. Do not sit there and hold it in. Talk to the Freedom to Speak Guardian, talk to the union, talk to your line manager.
Tracey, you're our Freedom to Speak Up Guardian. Tell us the impact on staff that you've seen firsthand from people who have experienced bullying.
So the research actually tells us that bullying behaviours have a significant impact on our emotional intelligence and our psychological well-being and our physical health. And that affects the way we function, and that means that we are perhaps less clear sometimes in the way we think, and we're more likely to make errors. So how that's translated, and what I see in people coming to see me locally, is people come in with very low self-esteem, they don't feel valued, they've lost confidence, they sometimes are losing sleep, they've lost appetite, they become withdrawn. So if I had one key message that I would really like to say to people, it's that the standards of behaviour that we walk by and accept and do nothing about are the standards of behaviour in effect that we accept. And what I'd really like to say to everybody is, please call it out, speak up, seek help and advice.
Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this short video. Just some key messages for me. Remember that bullying is unacceptable. We have a zero tolerance in this organisation. We want to create a climate of respect. If you tell us about it early, we can deal with it quicker and sooner. And remember that an organisation that doesn't have bullying provides better care for its patients. Thanks for watching.